Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By.
Ahoy hoy.
This is episode 398.
Ooh, feeling great.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about the Star Trek Voyager episode.
Nope. I
Star
wish.
Trek Discovery episode, Sweet Sorrow. Such Sweet Sorrow by number 2, featuring number 1.
Oh yeah, she looks great.
And me, Jake.
Chris.
Ames.
And Caitlin.
But we're not allowed to talk about it anymore because it's all been classified.
We've been sworn to secrecy.
So in that case, yes, we'll talk about Voyager, Year of Hell Part 2.
And you will
Oh, I think I famously slept through that one.
You did.
Great.
Yeah, you'll forgive us for being a little drowsier. We just had a big lunch, yum yum.
Yum yum.
But
It was a good lunch.
we'll try to keep our heads in the game. But anyway, what happened in this Sweet Sorrow two-part such thing?
Two-part Sweet Sorrow.
Two-part
So
sorrow,
many explosions.
1 part bullshit. Yeah, so this is the continuation, obviously, from last week's episode, where we were going to try to send the Discovery back to the future. But to do that, we need to build a angel suit, but we've done that already. And we've also...
Fairly an inconvenience.
Yeah. And then Michael's going to fly outside and guide the the Discovery into a time vortex and send them 900 years in the future.
Damn.
And it's all going to work. But oh no, Leland and Section 31 have arrived, and they've got hella ships. But we've got more ships. Wait,
No.
psych! They got lots of other... They got their own tiny little drone fleet. So then literally all hell breaks loose. It is a fucking shit show. Just explosions.
What if we play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys?
Oh, it was...
That would have made this
That
better.
would have made it perfect. Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest thing since the swarm thing. There's just swarms of tiny little drone ships.
Swarms of swarms. Just lousy.
Everyone's freaking out. Stamets gets blowed up a little bit, but he's okay because Hugh stuck around to give him a little kissy poo.
Oh,
and
we healed
now
him
they're-
with love.
Healed him with love.
And medically induced coma.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that too.
And
But
so many drugs. Probably.
a lot of drugs. So that's cool. So Stamets doesn't really get to do anything this episode because he's in a coma.
He did get to get stabbed really good by some shit.
Yeah, he did. He did get stabbed. Who else does stuff?
Giorgio?
Oh yeah, Giorgio fights Leland.
And Nan.
Leland shows up. Giorgio and Nan beat up Leland a little bit. They go in a
Inception room.
Inception style hallway.
Inception cement mixer.
Which it's cool the first time you see that effect, but once you see it in everything, it becomes a little.
Was there an OK Go video that did that?
It
feels like something they would
Did they go
yeah.
into like a zero grav plane or some shit? Actually,
They
did
did. It
do
was so
that.
cool. They have some great videos.
They do.
The music, meh.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So anyway, Michael, though, she's about to jump out the ship and guide them, and then she's like, wait a minute, my time travel doohickeys not working. Hold on, Spock, let's figure this out. So Spock's in like a shuttle, and he's over here, and she's over here. Here's Michael Burnham right here. And she's like, my suit ain't working.
She's playing with toys right now.
Michael Burnham looks like Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, she does. My suit ain't
I don't
working.
usually have that complaint, but...
Who's complaining? We like Michael.
And
we like,
Spock's
Malcolm
like,
McDowell.
wait a minute, I figured it out. Because we followed those signals that you sent. You have to send us the signals. You have to create the grandfather for
And
the
then
grandfather
Get in the
paradox.
chopper? What are you doing?
Get in the chopper!
We're going to pump you up!
Being fair, if we're talking about grandfather paradoxes, the Terminator is a big one.
Mhm.
So
Spock tells her what she needed to hear, which is, oh shit, I have to go and set the signals so that Discovery goes to all the places that it's been, and only after I do that can we go to the future for some reason. So she does. There's this extended montage of her jumping to all of the places where the signals were. She jumps to the Hiawatha. She jumps to New Eden. She jumps to...
Tignataro's asteroid.
It was the Hiawatha.
That was the Hiawatha.
Oh, sorry.
The Hiawatha.
Kaminar.
Kaminar.
Bofa or whatever it was
Yeah,
called.
whatever.
These nuts.
Boreth
nuts.
and
Boreth.
Zakia.
Yeah, so she jumps to other places, she just sets the signals, and then she's like, yes, now I can open up the portal to the future. So she does, but Spock's like, listen, I was going to go, but I got chicken, and I'm not going to go. Actually, no, his shuttle just broke. So they fly the Discovery through the wormhole and go to the future. But, meanwhile, on the Enterprise, they've got themselves hit by a big old torpedo, and it's going to blow up, and it's going to blow up the whole ship. So...
Well, 4 decks of the saucer is how Cornwell puts it.
yeah, it's going to fuck shit up. So Cornwell is like, well...
Or number 1, one of them.
I can help fix this. So Cornwell is there. She's trying to disarm the torpedo, and she can't do it. And she's like, well, the only thing left to do is to close this thin door with a window in it, and that will save the ship.
She's like, tell Michael Burnham, this is how you fucking be a martyr, bitch.
Cornwell blows herself up with the torpedo, and Pike has to watch from the other side of that door. But apparently, even though the torpedo blew up literally like a quarter of the saucer section,
it stopped at that door.
it stopped at that door.
Thanks,
which
Cornwell.
was also the closest thing to the torpedo. So really suspicious what this door is made out of.
Pike's plot armor.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
true.
Because he was also in an elevator shaft. So I imagine like in that mess of ship that's just like totally blown away, there's just one elevator shaft that's not left.
Yeah.
They say you're not supposed to use these if there's a fire, but whatever.
Where we end up, the Discovery is trapped in the future, and the Enterprise, and the way we've retconned that no one has ever heard of the spore drive is that the Starfleet makes everyone on the Enterprise swear to eternal secrecy, never to talk about the spore drive or Michael Burnham or any of these people ever again.
What about Obo's family or Detler's family?
Nope, they're not even going to deliver those fucking letters because
You can't speak their names.
You got to pretend they never done existed. The end.
Wow. So this was kind of sensory overload, the episode.
Oh my god.
To just keep you from thinking about anything going on, just keep moving forward.
pew-pews.
I mean, Caitlin, you said it. You said as it was going on, go see a Star War. And yeah, this is like the most Star Wars they have been since JJ left, and it's also the most JJ they've been since JJ left. Like, it is so Star Trek Beyond. It's Star Wars. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's also the end of Bill and Ted, because when they have the, or is that the first one and the second one, or just the second one?
What thing are you referring to?
Where they are discussing with one another all the things they have to go do.
Yeah, that's in the first one.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's literally a moment where it's like, remember to put a bucket here, and then a bucket it's
Falls,
on the door
yeah.
and falls at the exact right moment. You're like, thanks, Keanu. Love you.
Yeah, so this is that. You know, it's like, you know, she's Keanu, he's Alex Winter, or vice versa. He's like, you have to go set the signals. And she's like, I don't want to go to military school. Wait, no, wrong movie. Because they were going to send Keanu Reeves to military school.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I also forgot to mention in my synopsis that...
The Kelpians showed up?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
not just the
And the Klingons.
as I predicted last week, Ash went off to go get L'Rell, and now he's apparently just fine to be hanging out with the Klingons.
Yeah, they love him now.
So
Well,
they
they-
show up in their giant...
They could have kept their son.
The only ones that know are her and those two dudes on the bridge who they kill. So it's fine.
There you go.
They did. I forgot they brought back the Cleave ship. For
I do
this.
love the cruise
Yeah, they
ship.
bring
That's
back
so
their
good.
big freaking icebreaker.
Yeah,
They-
it slams through several Section 31 ships, so that's pretty good.
They've already got like 5 D7s now.
Yeah. They also bring with them the Kelpians, who've apparently just taken over all of the Ba'ul technology.
And
So
know
they-
how to use it.
They've killed all the Ba'ul then,
Oh,
right?
obviously.
They're right back to their old
Ba'ul,
tricks.
Ba'ul were totally justified in their fears of the Kelpians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that oh god. There are a lot of things this episode that it's too many things at once, and the Kelpians were like the massive cherry on top of the sundae that made the whole thing fall apart, because it's like, she's here just so Saru can say goodbye.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. They needed Sarana here for a Saru moment because everyone had to have a moment doing something. That's why Sarana is here, and it makes absolutely no fucking sense.
All they had to do was have her in a ship with a Ba'ul pilot to suggest both that
They've made peace.
they've made peace.
That'd be nice.
And, you know, now we're like, because that would be the Star Trek message is like, yeah, the people, the oppressed and the oppressors have like reconciled and are now helping each other.
Yeah, Saru literally says, you've learned to pilot a fighter. In the same incredulous way that I would think, like, what the actual fuck?
Well, again, I know we quote him all the time, but it's like, oh, so, are they going to learn how to fly the battleship? Shouldn't that be hard? Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
How about you get all the way off my ass about that?
Okay, I will. Yeah, it could have just been the Klingons and it would have been fine. If you really wanted another set of people...
Did we even need the Klingons?
Yes, they would have died otherwise.
Yeah, the fact that these two ships are just getting pummeled
Well,
for the entire hour.
That's when you have other Starfleet ships show up and say number 1 sent a signal.
Or...
Which would have been nice, because I honestly think we could have dropped the Klingons from this whole season and lost nothing.
Yeah. Well, you also could have had was like, because they kept saying, oh, you know, subspace is broken somehow. Like, but you know who has a ship that apparently can travel really far, really fast, like it's nothing, is
the Discovery.
Sarek.
Oh, God,
who was there. He could have showed back up with,
well,
like,
that was
the
just
fleet.
nonsense. I don't think
Nonsense?
I don't think we mentioned this last week, but I meant to. And that's that the Sarek Amanda goodbye with Michael should have just been done in Sarek's mind hallway thing that he and Michael shared. Bring that back from season 1 because it was established.
Yeah.
Say goodbye. If you need a goodbye scene with Sarek, you do it that way. You have conference call with Amanda because why not?
Yeah, he could have mind melded with her.
Yeah, there it is. Because it's... Everyone showing up at the exact right moment is so contrived. And granted, every franchise of show or movie or what have you does this. But when you realize, like, things are supposed to be very, very far apart. Like, they kept saying, Section 31 is an hour away. This battle starts, and within 5 minutes of battle, the Klingons are here, the Kelpians are here.
Yeah. Actually, he could have just brought the Vulcans. They have their own ships, the big crazy ring
Vulcans.
ships.
I love those ships. Here's another thought. Remind me, because I know we jumped to Zakia with the spore drive, and then we wait for Enterprise to catch up because we were going to try to do something. And then Discovery knows they have to jump to the future. Why not spore jump even further away again from Section 31 and jump then and not whilst battling?
Didn't they need to find a thing that was going supernova, or was that an earlier...
That was an earlier
thing. That's what they used.
The recrystallizer was for...
Yeah, we had Poe make us a device. We have the device now, we're all set.
Okay, never mind.
So we could have just jumped away again and done this somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You have the jump drive, so no one's really a threat to you because you can just fuck off whenever they show up.
And it was never, and the thing too is, it was never the plan to do that, you know, because people, because Stamets got injured. It's like, yeah, but they never even considered it. Like, that's what they could have been considering it, but then he gets impaled. It's like,
oh, there you go. Yeah, that would have been a good
literally no one else can run this thing. Where's
Ripper?
Yeah. He should have shown up with your whole squad of fucking tardigrade just starts smacking the Section 31 ships.
That would have been awesome.
Aw, cute. Well, they would rip them apart with their fangs.
Exactly.
So last week, Michael Burnham had a vision when she touched the crystal of Leland coming onto the bridge and killing literally everybody.
But because Michael Burnham wasn't on the bridge in this instance, that didn't happen.
But why didn't Leland kill nobody other than
there were a couple of people that got spaced in
but that wasn't because of Leland. That was just like they just happened to be in the wrong spot when the ship got blown up. But like Leland wasn't terribly threatening.
What are you talking about? He stormed onto the bridge with a gun and started taking pot shots at everybody.
But he hit no one.
Terrible aim.
No, he hit a couple people.
Yeah, a couple of no names.
He hit nobody,
okay, they don't count.
Nobody of importance.
He didn't even kill the bridge crew that never get lines that we like. I don't even think we saw the front of the people. We saw them behind. It's like that could have been literally anyone.
Guys, every sperm is sacred.
And then we're gonna make him scream.
Yum yum.
Yum yum. Which again, I know it's the stupidest line.
So bad.
It is.
But
it's not make sense in context.
There's no context. It's like we're gonna make him scream for ice cream. Yum yum.
That would fix it. That would fix the line, Jake. It's still it's fucking terrible.
No, it's terrible.
And we haven't seen Non have this kind of humor banter thing before.
No.
It's the power of the Emperor.
That's a Giorgio line. She has the stupid banter one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
yeah, but they couldn't show her talking to herself, you know?
It could have been we're about to eat him for breakfast. Yum yum. Even that would have been a terrible line, but it would have made more sense in context.
Yes.
Because it's a food thing.
Yeah.
Yum yum just as a thing. Honestly, I would... like that would be like a record screech moment. Like Giorgio is they're trying to hack through this door to get at Leland, and she says, "Yeah, we're gonna make him scream," and Nan's like, "Yum yum," and Giorgio's like, "What the fuck? Yum yum? What the fuck's wrong with this?"
I thought I was weird.
Maybe
Yum,
she meant
yum.
to say yub nub.
Oh,
Maybe that's what it is. She was speaking her native language, and that's like her people's thing for fuck yeah, let's murder
go.
this guy.
Fuck yeah, I love science.
I did enjoy the vaguely trippy time travel special effects.
Oh, we're jumping to the end. I see.
Well, when,
No,
you
no,
mean,
just
like,
in
when Michael was in like a shower of sparks.
Well, that was a little weird, but I loved how like
the
basically,
with the Windows Media Player effect.
yeah, with the universe like just went flat and twisted, and it's like that's fun. I feel like maybe when she was going through there were like the sparks and the weird light effects, it was vaguely similar to like how weird fucking time travel got in Star Trek 4, where they all like hallucinated for some reason.
Yeah, but I think so they were implying that the time travel has something to do with a black hole or something.
Yeah, sure.
But that makes
That's what they did in the Kelvin timeline.
I think the flattening of space was meant to be like the event horizon.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought it looked neat.
Yeah, no, it did look very cool. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it was kind of like visual vocabulary of something weird is happening, accept it.
Yeah,
I
it's
accepted
fucking
that.
bonkers.
Yeah, but the time portal itself was very explicitly like a black
Yeah,
hole
yeah.
effect.
I thought it was more like a wormhole. Wasn't it?
What,
Yeah.
that's-
Wormhole-y.
like later it was a wormhole, but when she first started jumping, it did have more of a black hole
And then we
thing going
flew
on.
into an anus.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the end we go through the anus, but yeah, the first one was like a black hole, and like the ring around the black hole where you could see like the light being warped.
Right. Yeah, like the visuals of this episode are stunning, if overwhelming of the senses.
Mm.
I thought they did a really good job of keeping the battle three-dimensional,
Mhm.
which a lot of other shows, especially Star Trek, but also other shows, even more contemporary shows, fail at doing frequently.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I didn't get why. So they just say that the torpedo is a photon torpedo.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we attempted to shoot a photon torpedo at the Discovery and it did nothing.
No.
This week, this photon torpedo, it's fucking huge. It's the torpedo itself.
Enormous.
Compared to the scale of the Enterprise, it's like 40 feet long.
No, it's
Are
a
those the same torpedoes that we saw Dr. McCoy surgerying in 6?
No, those are like
What were
little
those?
rinky-dink. Those are photon torpedoes.
Those
too.
are also photon
They should have
torpedoes.
called it something else. They should have called it like
Destroyer missile.
a photonic missile or something.
well, that thing. It was clearly some sort of Section 31 special.
Yeah,
Like-
because calling it like photon torpedoes when they're launched from a ship just like look little balls of light.
Yeah, they're
Isn't 31 Special a band or a song?
maybe.
I have no idea.
But yeah, no, the photon torpedoes are just large enough to serve as a coffin if you have to bury someone in space.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But this was clearly, it looked like one of the torpedoes that Khan had in Into Darkness.
Yeah.
But even bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ever increasing amounts of tech that Section 31 seems to have access to that are well beyond what anything in Star Trek has been. Period.
Yeah.
And B, anything bizarre, but even beyond what Discovery knows, just gets more and more insane every week. But even Discovery tech, like we see those fucking repair droid things
Yeah,
pop out of
little,
nowhere.
Little pig nose things.
Yeah, those things, they took me like immediately out of the episode because we've never seen them before. They introduced them right now as they have to go out there and polish the ship.
Yeah, they're little like Eevees from WALL-E.
Yeah, I mean they were cute, but they don't fit.
No.
The-
And they were
the-
on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Weird.
Which again, like I know this is a reimagined Enterprise, but I don't buy that they've got this
Yeah, I feel like
technology.
in any other show, they would send engineers out in suits. And
Yeah.
that would actually be kind of dynamic and interesting because it's really
No,
fucking
you
dangerous.
know what they were exactly? They were R2-D2s from
Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Absolutely.
When he has to go fix the ship. And his friends get blown off and
Yep,
he's
yep,
the one
yep.
that survives.
And then he gets a pat on the head from
Amidala.
Amidala.
Mm-hmm.
Except not really. That was the...
Well, she patted him on
double.
the head too.
Everyone
That's
gave him a pat. He got good pats. Yeah, Amidala cleaned him up later.
Yeah.
I'm
She
getting
was...
pats.
She was like, fucking Keira Knightley's like, Okay, servant, go polish my droid for me. I love this switcheroo. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking, watching this, that it would really potentially serve as a finale for the Discovery.
For the whole show?
Yeah, if they hadn't gotten renewed, it's like, okay, well, we've sent everybody off to the future, and we never get a follow up with the Discovery. They're just kind of gone now. Mm-hmm. And if like the show had gotten canceled, you've left it open to do something more with this crew in follow up TV movie or something. But the end of this episode is really focusing on the Enterprise crew and like
closing that door.
Kind of closing that, and also setting up the spin-off, which I'm assuming they knew they were going to do a spin-off at this point.
It took them
I don't think they did.
while to kind of like actually make it happen.
Yeah, because I know
it took them a while to publicly announce that it was happening.
Well, maybe there's that. I'm sure maybe they could have been thinking about it, but I know like a lot of the reviewers at the time, a lot of fans at the time were saying like, we want a new show, we want a Pike and Rebecca Romaine and Spock show, and here's perfect proof why you just left us off at the perfect place to do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they definitely didn't say anything publicly about there being a potential show.
No.
Yeah, I don't know if it had been in the back of their minds, but certainly, yeah. Like I feel like it took so long to make it official that I think like they definitely weren't. They didn't think we're definitely doing this while they were making this season.
Correct.
So I
would agree with that.
And I think that like maybe because they heard, because it didn't take long for people to immediately like warm to Pike, so they may have started being like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Well, and I feel like they wouldn't have been like, yep, you're going to wind up at the BB chair. That's cemented into your life, like if they knew they were going to do it.
Well, they had to. They
didn't have to.
Well, I mean, he has to wind up at the BB chair is what I mean. They didn't have to make it part of the... Yeah. I found it really interesting because, we've discussed the fact that now, Pike knows he has plot armor. He has his
which does come up in Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, but also I like that, I don't know how Cornwell seems to know that he has plot armor, but she apparently does. Because he mentions like...
She's a psychologist.
Yeah.
She's those truth orbs on him one day.
Maybe she's actually part... Traveler? No,
Betazoid.
I was going to say Betazoid. Maybe she's part Betazoid.
But either way, though, like, he's basically like, no, I don't die here. It'll be fine. And she's kind of like, yeah, you got plot armor, but does it extend to anyone else? And he kind of makes a face of like, fuck, I don't know. I only know my shit. So it is like, because it is an interesting thing they've done with him now where like, he knows he's got until a specific moment, but he doesn't know anyone else's future. And it's a bizarre place he has found himself in.
Yeah, he's very fascinating in this episode. And, just the kind of... I enjoy him all season long. But this episode, like, the scene where he's watching Cornwell sacrifice herself, even though they certainly could have beamed her out. Fucking goddamn it. And also, that room makes no sense with a handle on only one side of the fucking door. Unearned Cornwell death, but really good Pike stuff in that scene that I really appreciate. And Anson Mount, like, excellent.
Yeah. It is, it's a shame to fridge Cornwell. But, again, they were like, we know we're probably not... Because, again, like, since they didn't know for certain they'd be doing a spin-off, like, as far as they knew, this is it for the 23rd century.
Well, they knew they were doing a Section 31 spin-off.
Well, yeah, they certainly set that up with the Ash Tyler.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd you like to be the boss of Section 31?
Isn't he the...
He
the only one left?
Yeah, like...
Because of all those other ships, they're run by Control... Because Control spaces crews.
Yeah, like, aside from... I'm sure they have some random agents on planets scattered here and there, but I'm willing to bet the bulk of Section 31...
How do you find that?
...was in that armada and was spaced. And yeah, Section 31 is like him and 4 other people, maybe.
Well, and maybe this is how... we've talked about how by Ben Sisko's time, Section 31 isn't even really known.
Yeah.
Who was... Okay, at the end, when we're debriefing everybody and they're all lying about the Discovery, and whoever that was doing the questioning...
Yeah.
Just basically offers Tyler to be head of Section 30. Who is that guy? Why does he have the authority to offer that to him?
That
Who
guy.
are you?
That's Commander Starfleet.
Apparently. I can recognize him by his baton.
No, that was the captain of the Excelsior.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
Commander
That was a good
Starfleet
baton,
was
though.
the other guy.
Yeah, with the mustache.
I'm just thinking of mustachioed men.
Mm-hmm.
As is my
Oh yeah, Captain Fancy Baton also had a mustache.
He had a
He
great
did.
mustache.
He did. Yeah, it was really weird too because they like never showed they showed him from behind. They would show him from the front, but only from like his mouth. Like we never got a look at him.
Daniels. Definitely Daniels.
Motherfucker.
Damn it.
Probably was.
Okay, a couple other little things, because there's so many things. Remind me at the very, very, very top of the season when Enterprise meets up with Discovery for the first time and we meet Pike.
Mhm.
The Enterprise was crippled? Had damage?
Her systems were all fucked up because of whatever it was that something in the holographic communication system fried so bad it was Michael. That was
I was under the impression that they crossed a red signal or something and got damage from that, and that's why they couldn't continue on with Discovery. Looking into the red signals, and that means Michael fucked up the Enterprise.
They don't say that directly, but it does feel like maybe that's the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also know this season changed showrunners halfway through,
Did it?
and I don't quite know how they cobbled together, because it really does feel like the first half of the season is a wholly different show than the second half of the season.
Yeah, and there's that weird because there's the first chunk. There's that weird little sag we had for a few weeks, and then the finale. And I think maybe the sag is where they tried to
Perhaps
stitch things together.
Yeah, I think there are little things like that get lost, and then a lot of big things that I'm still like, what? So we start the season with 7 red signals,
Yeah.
and we get to the end, and Spock is like, I'm waiting for Michael's 7th signal, and I'm like, you already saw it, so you know she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So we know what's going to happen because we haven't seen all 7
Well, but
signals
the whole
yet.
thing with the signals doesn't even make sense because we see the 7 signals all at once.
Oh, right, and then we get them again.
But then we get it's introduced to us that we've detected these 7 signals. But,
Yeah.
But then throughout the season, it's like, okay,
each one
we've now
re-signals?
detected a signal.
Yeah, and they did have in the little flashback sequence, they did have that line that I forgot about where Pike is like, "This is the only one that's shown us where it is."
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
But
I
we saw
don't know.
it. They made a map and
Yeah.
showed us where they all were.
Yeah, it doesn't quite
I think this might be that
Where
that showrunner disconnect.
happen.
But
Yeah,
it means that someone else is trying to finish this thing from someone else's work
yeah.
and piecing together all the pieces in a way that I'm like, I don't think you did it.
Something got lost in the handoff for sure.
Definitely. Because Michael, the most important character in the universe, as we know, TMCR, determines I have to be the one that goes in the suit and does the 5 signals that we've gone to so far.
Yeah.
So all she does is go to each place, so there will be a signal, so Discovery will go there.
Yep.
And she doesn't do anything.
No, she just
It's just a matter of her having been there.
that attracts the attention of the ship.
But didn't she wasn't there something that happened when they went to Kaminar that when her signal actually ignited, it did something?
That I thought was.
I feel like the Red Angel saved the day.
Oh,
the Red,
yeah.
So the Red.
You're right.
So I think when the Red Angel is saving the day, it's Mom.
Well, no, that's what I
What?
thought too. But then when Saru's looking at her in the flashback, they do zoom in and it's Michael.
Oh.
So yeah, you're right though. I think the Red Angel did do something that
Maybe
broke
it was-
all the
maybe
bubble
it-
shit.
Was it just that the wormhole that appeared did something?
Oh,
These are all the
yeah.
little things that I'm like, in that whole denouement montage of Michael flying around, and it breaks my fucking brain.
Danu montage.
Yay, denouement Michael.
Michael S. Machina.
Absolutely, every fucking show.
Yeah, and that sort of. Yeah, and when she shows up at the Hawaii, Jesus, I said that word.
You
You did.
Which they were already at.
Which they were
From
already
a different
at.
signal or the same signal but
No,
earlier.
so she set the signal,
but then hung around
then
because
she hung
time
around
was
so
weird.
she could see herself get injured, but
Apparently.
it's strongly, but the whole idea was that when Michael's in jeopardy, that's when Mom shows up to save her.
Apparently they were wrong.
They were
Apparently-
wrong, and they nearly killed Michael for it.
I guess so.
That would explain why it took Mom so long to show up.
Like, wait a minute.
Do they
Am
think
I
I'm
supposed
gonna
to do something?
Actually, yeah, that would explain why that went that way.
Mm.
Because they'd been assuming it was the. That actually makes sense.
Oh, God.
What a mess.
Yeah, imagine if they'd actually killed her.
Yeah.
Wah,
Oops.
wah.
There is a failed timeline where they did. Because we do know they've done. This has been happening a lot.
Yeah.
There was one timeline where it was Jeffrey Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you guys said Jeffrey Combs.
Ooh.
There's a one
that one,
timeline
too.
with that, too. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just looking at the timeline where everything went perfect.
Yeah, basically. It's the whole quantum immortality
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly.
But
Survivor bias.
shouldn't
Yeah.
we then have known that it would all go perfect because we saw 7 signals and we've only seen 5 so far?
Yeah, but that's the thing. The 7 signals,
Well, the only people that are there for that realization are Michael and Spock.
That's true. Sciencing at each other from an asteroid? Where the axe were
they were
they?
like on a piece of debris.
It looked
Okay.
like I think it was a chunk of Section 31 ship.
Okay, that's kind of fun.
Because it definitely looked like Hull.
I don't know why she didn't just like go into the shuttle and we could work it out together. Like, why did she have to stand outside?
Suit wouldn't work from inside the
No.
ship for reasons.
Yeah, and then once she's got it figured out, she can go back outside. But
Yeah, that's true.
you're like, yeah, come in, sit down, take the shoes off,
Hmm.
relax.
Yeah. Why did she always have to do the starting an Olympic sprint stance before?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
Because that's a badass thing that people
Yeah.
do before they fly.
I mean, I guess maybe the time she had to run out of the. She didn't have to though, but still, she was going from indoors to outdoors, fine. But the time where she was just literally could just turn the magnets off on her space boots and drifted off,
Mm.
dear,
Speaking
dear.
of magnets and space boots, so when the scene where they're having the little fight in the rotating
Yeah.
hallway,
Mm-hmm. The Leland, Giorgio, Non, and 2 extras who had gotten blown away.
they say the computer gets on and says artificial gravity system damaged or something.
Mhm.
And normally when that would happen, they would just be floating around.
Yeah.
And they could, I mean, that would be very expensive to shoot if they had to be on wires or whatever.
Well, I'm sure it was expensive because did they build a rotating set?
They had to build a rotating set for that. Yeah, honestly, I think a wire fight would have been cooler because, Michelle Yeoh does that type of stuff, like in Hidden Dragon.
We'll see what they were like. We want to do a wire fight. It's like, no.
Mm.
That shit is uncomfortable. I've done it before. Fuck you, we're doing Inception.
It did look cool.
It did look cool, but I don't know. I'm just like, I see it. I'm just like, ugh. That's not. It's not an effect. The fight wasn't choreographed as well as the Inception fight.
Goodness no.
And I feel like the Inception fight looked really good because the choreography was so fucking good.
Oh, and we had Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that sweet suit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
I feel like this just looked like, okay, we're just gonna do like a chaotic thing, which just doesn't work.
Condolences to the CGI staff who had to make the pebbles shift every time the gravity shifted.
Did they not just have pebbles in there?
I assumed those were CG'd because they didn't look quite right.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they were styrofoam pebbles.
I mean, they probably wouldn't have looked.
Yeah, you can't fight around real pebbles.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's
So
gonna
they
trip.
would have had to have been styrofoam, and they probably didn't fall as nicely as they wanted.
It's too light, so yeah, they probably had to. It may have been when they landed, they were then real, but for the transition at least, they probably had to CG
But I
them.
think a hallway fight on wires would have been way cool.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then they could have had Michelle Yeoh grabs a floating pebble and whacks Leland over the head. with
I
it.
was half waiting for somebody to pick up a chunk of ship rock and beat somebody with it.
Mhm.
Because it's always rocks. Like you said it, but that goes back to at least TNG, if not TOS. Why are all these rocks in starship ceilings?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's some sort of insulation material.
I will accept that because that makes more sense.
It's fireproofing insulation, and when a panel blows up, it's
everywhere. Yeah, because it always just looks like rocks.
It does
and
look like rocks.
and it's been that way for 30 plus years, and it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why?
So many rocks.
But yeah, I was half waiting for somebody to just take a piece of it and just smash Leland in the face with it.
Yeah, but that wouldn't do anything.
True.
Well, yeah. So we finally defeat him
With
in
magnets.
the
How do they
same,
work?
yeah,
How
in
do
the
they
same
work?
way we defeated Fuckface last
Gant.
week. Gant.
I was kind of half expecting, because she'd locked him in the spore room, that she was just going to spore drive him to death. Like, because remember how in season 1 there was that scene where Lorca like showed Michael, like he sent her on a little trip through space in the cube before they realized how the spore drive worked.
Oh yeah.
I thought she was maybe gonna like, turn the spore drive in on itself and just like rip him to shreds.
Oh yeah, no, here's what would have been cool. She turns it on and releases the spores, and then what's her face shows up.
Oh, May.
May shows up.
That actually would have been kind of cool.
No, that's too many. You can't bring back every single character.
They've already done that.
May as
We
well
bring back
have it.
Serana, we bring back
That's the
Laurel,
only one.
we bring back fucking Poe, who was in a short track.
Yeah,
no.
really.
Well, here's what you do: is you don't bring back the Kelpians because that was dumb, and you bring back May instead.
Oh God.
Or at the
You
very
can't
least,
just- it feels so. It's very, very tidy, is what it is. It feels so
But
conscious that
Tidy
they're like,
whities.
okay, we have this checklist of all the things that we have to make sure we bring up in this episode. We have to show off every single one of the 7 signals in like exhausting flashback to remind you.
But here's the thing: we're still complaining that they didn't cover all of the explanations.
No, I'm complaining that over the course of the season they didn't do the explanations.
Yeah.
In one episode, that's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, true.
Because for like 20 episodes, we had to like not know where Spock was, and it had to be a really big deal.
Right. Where's Spock?
whatever Spock isn't on. We already made this joke, didn't we?
Yes. And now Michael Burnham has to go return to her
home planet.
Her own planet.
All right. So at the very end, what we've done the Leland thing. We didn't spore him. We magnetized him.
It was sort of anticlimactic.
Why did that turn off all the other ships? Why are we acting like Control is only Leland?
Because I think it is. I think at
That
this
doesn't
point,
make any sense.
Control-
We had Gant on the other ship
Yeah.
at the same time that Leland was around, and they were both like running autonomously.
Or maybe
Why aren't there more of them?
Maybe they're not autonomous. Maybe they're networked, and the
It's like a queen bee thing, like
Yeah.
a
He was the
Ender's
Borg.
Game.
He was the Borg queen.
he was the Borg
Like,
queen.
I imagine, I guess if you had to explain it, and they didn't in the episode, but the most logical explanation would be the bulk of Control's processing power was in Leland's corpse.
I think that's a very dumb
See,
explanation.
what they
though.
should have done is after, like, earlier in the season, they should have shown that, like, when a significant part of Control is damaged, like, the other parts have to take a minute to reconfigure themselves.
Yeah.
If they established that.
Yeah.
No, if they have to establish that, because then what they could have had is like, okay, Leland gets killed, and then Enterprise notices, all of the Section 31 ships just went into their standby mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, sweep them up, or, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is just Independence Day when
Yeah.
they kill the mothership.
Yeah, but
See, I think...
But at Independence Day, when you killed the mothership, they all shut down permanently. I'm just saying that, like,
they like reboot. Or
yeah,
something.
they have to reboot, and that takes a minute for them to... Because the problem with them all just shutting down permanently is it makes the Discovery going into the future completely
Pointless.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people argue that once Georgiou says Leland is dead, Control is neutralized, or whatever word she uses, they could just say, hey, Discovery, you're off the hook, you're fine now. And they didn't do that, they still jumped to the future. But that's why I keep thinking... Control can't only be Leland. That doesn't make sense because we've seen Gant, who disproves that point.
Yeah, I think what it means is, like, they have to assume that there's still bits of Control code out there.
They don't
and, like,
say it when they say Control is neutralized, and they could have just dropped that part of the line.
Yeah, like, if we assume, again, that the bulk of Control was in Leland at that moment, but there's still fragments of Control out there they have to be concerned about, which is kind of what you have to assume, because otherwise, yeah, they're going to the future doesn't make sense.
But most people did not assume this.
Really?
Most people assumed, because a lot of people asked, hey, now that Control is neutralized, why did they still jump? They didn't have to. And I think, no, they did have to.
But even the Starfleet guy that's doing the interviews at the end, they're like, hey, is Control gone? And he's like, yeah, we got rid of Control. So,
well, that though, because that's later, so maybe by then they've gone through the, like, hulks of the Section 31 ships and scrubbed the systems.
But even so, right? Like, it still doesn't make any sense that Discovery would have to leave, because really, if Leland is the muscle of Control at this point. If short of Leland, Control is just a computer program that can't really do anything.
Leland is their Locutus.
Yeah, exactly. So they get rid of him, And then what? What are they going to do? Nothing. They got nothing.
Make another one.
Yeah, I think
They could make tons of them. All they need is a body. We got bodies all over this ship.
Yeah, I think the idea is just like they're afraid of another Control like situation happening.
Oh, we saw Control in that not drone. Oh yes, drone. Drone is the right word.
Yeah.
My brain said missile, but my mouth said drone, which is correct. In that drone thing that came back from the future and attacked Pike and Spock.
That was future Control though.
Yeah, that was that, like, again, that future that now, in theory, has not come to pass because of the actions
and yet that drone still did come back.
No, fractured...
Yeah, God damn it.
Look, we're going to be sitting here making diagrams of straws all
Bill
day.
and Ted, save us.
Yeah, I think their whole thing was just like, Control could happen again, so Discovery has to go to the future even if this version is destroyed. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
It doesn't make a ton of sense.
Sort of, I'll take it.
Yeah, but you do kind of have to accept that Giorgio didn't kill Control.
No.
She killed Leland, who had some control in him.
Yeah.
And she made a quip while doing it, because of course she did.
And then she looked really satisfied watching him die. It's
I
like,
know.
oh, you remembered she's evil.
It's very funny, because Saru says at one point, a really good line, a really good delivery from Saru. When Leland is about to appear on screen, you will see a human face. It is not a human being.
Yeah.
But then everyone treats him like a human being.
Yum, yum.
Yum, yum.
What a weird... Like, who okayed that?
Who
wrote it thinking it was a good line? Then how did everybody
the
think...
Linus lines?
I like imagine them doing the table read and like everyone looking up like this.
No, they all
this
fucking
real?
loved it.
That's who they would have picked up and hit with a rock. Linus, because he's a Gorn.
Oh.
Or maybe he would have picked up the rock and hit somebody
he's a
with
Gorn.
it.
I thought you were going
He's
with
just
some
a
kind
lizard
of
man.
Linus not a Gorn?
No.
The Gorns are like...
Oh, we see
I
more
don't know.
Gorns
He
in
looks a lot
JJ
like a
Abrams.
Gorn, like the old Gorn, not so much like the Enterprise Gorn.
No, because they had like long, almost alligator-like snouts. He's got a very like oval
Yeah,
head.
he's just like a lizard man.
Yeah,
Well,
he's a
whatever.
different-
I still think it would be great if he hit somebody with a
that
styrofoam rock.
would have been pretty funny. I thought you were going for like a Charlie Brown. I got a rock thing.
No.
I wish he had a. I wish he had a.
That's
I wish
good too, though.
if Linus had a tongue like Dargo from
From Farscape?
Farscape, where he just shoot his tongue out and knock somebody out with it.
Occasionally, he licks his eyes like lizards actually do on Earth.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Delicious. Yum, yum.
No, God.
Then he can say yum, yum.
Oh. Picturing someone licking their own eye and then going yum yum is
No,
vile.
he uses his tongue to flat smack someone else with his tongue, and then he says yum, yum, and there you go, you fix the line.
He could sneeze on Leland and give him COVID.
And all the
Jesus
monster
God.
fuckers would be all over that.
I'm just randomly going through my notes now.
Yeah, go for it.
And this one is jumping out to me because I wrote it in all caps. Why do other people call her number one?
Because that's her name.
But it's not her name because we have heard someone, possibly Pike, call her Una.
That's the other thing too, is like when she gives her name during the interrogation
Yeah,
thing
she
at
says
the end,
it's
she
number
says
one.
number one. So
As
like
both her name and rank.
no, like they just say she just says number one. She doesn't give a name.
Yeah, some people like to be called by not their.
Well,
Yeah,
It's
but like
simply
it's
as
an
bizarre
official an official Starfleet inquest. I would think that they wouldn't be like, Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name, Like I don't think that would fly.
No, I just thought Cornwall is the one that says it. Cornwall is someone who is not a member of this crew, who probably wouldn't know to call her not by whatever is in her file.
Mm-hmm.
But that also means that we still haven't heard of number one's heard her full name yet.
Yeah, that doesn't come up till Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, when Strange New Worlds does give her a name, and I think it's the name that she has in some books.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know at the very least Una definitely was in books.
Yeah.
And don't we get a name for Uhura too? No, we already did that. We did that already. Never mind.
It hasn't happened in this timeline yet.
No, but it happened in the Kelvin timeline.
But
it
it's not
happened in
going
books.
to be a different name.
Yeah, no, they do carry over
Right.
Neota.
Neota.
Which I think had been in books, but she had a couple different names in books before they settled on Neota. I think.
When there was a mention that Discovery's shields are failing because all the control ships and whatever those little hovering things were taking it down. I'm thinking, Pike, nuke it. This is what you were gonna do anyway.
Yeah. Well, loss of
All
life
their friends
acceptable.
are there now.
Yeah. The needs of the many. Come on, nuke it. Get on Control's side because Control wants to take it down so that they can get the info. You want it destroyed. Do it.
So, speaking of the sphere data, so we know that the sphere data is on Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the fridge.
Yeah.
It's in the replicator.
Well, no, but like really, where is it? Because Leland is looking for it.
She moved it into the Spore console.
That wasn't a lie?
I don't think
thought
so. I
that
think
was
she
a-
did
I thought that was
actually
a
put
trick.
it there to lure him because I think she knew he'd kind of follow it.
But that wasn't established. That was just a thing that happened.
Yeah, he just decided that's what she did with it.
But it seemed I think she.
But
know.
we and the audience never saw them hatching this plan. It's like,
No, I took her word for it.
Wow.
You can move it around in the ship.
apparently.
And yet it can control the shields of the ship and the auto-destruct of the ship.
Yep.
But you can move it around.
Yes,
I
yeah.
don't get this.
Yeah, the
fucking
elements of it definitely don't make sense.
You can move and organize, but you can't delete. You know.
Yeah.
It's like not being an
It's like
owner of a
defragging.
document in Google.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I was trying to think of a metaphor, and then something bad happens. They don't have editing control, just viewing and note making.
I also noticed that they wrote this entire episode and realized that they hadn't given anything for Tilly to do, so they had to like
Stick her in a Jeffries tube.
Stick her in a Jeffries tube.
And
Yeah.
jettison her.
No, that's the Finney tube.
That's
Oh,
a different
right.
tube.
My bad.
But yeah, like they had nothing for Tilly to do, so it's like let's just put her in a Jeffries tube and have her fixing the shields.
Sure.
Guys, she loves science.
She sure
Fuck yeah.
does.
Fuck yeah.
That was very funny. I'm glad we watched that. Oh, God, Spock. I was really waiting for someone to actually say that.
Say what?
I like science.
He said that in previous episode.
No. I know he did. I'm saying in that thing that we just watched.
Mm.
Okay, now we have to link the thing we just watched.
Well, I assumed we were going to.
Yeah.
The thing we just watched that we keep referring to, people, is Red Letter Media's Season 2 Discovery in a nutshell. Look for it on our Facebook.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they nail it. They didn't get the circling camera thing,
I was
but they
waiting
got
for it,
everything
but they have a
they
smaller
just-
set. I don't think they had the
Yeah,
room
the
to...
technology for
They-
doing an orbiting camera.
Yeah, they literally built that set, bought those uniforms just for this skit,
Yeah.
and they went further with it than I thought they would.
Yeah.
So.
They
Although
even
if you
had-
look closely, that set is very clearly just like cardboard boxes with Christmas lights stuck.
Yeah, it's
through
very
it.
Oh,
TOS.
so it's original TOS?
Yeah.
I did like, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but I did notice there was one weird console explosion in the episode where, like, instead of the console going all at once, there was,
it
like,
was like a
a line, like
Yeah.
and their explosion in the sketch similarly had kind of like a line effect. Again, I don't know if it was on purpose or not in their case.
I think it's easier to program.
Probably, yeah.
If it's just like this one, then this one, then this one, then this
Yeah.
one.
But it was so funny to see it in the episode. It's like, normally that happens kind of all at once.
Yeah, and I think
There
if
wa-
they were going, I know we said last week that there was supposedly somebody credited as Colt on,
Yeah,
Still in
that's
this
right.
episode too.
but like
We have no idea which
there's
one.
there were named characters on the Enterprise.
So many, and none of them was
none of
Colt.
them were Colt.
But she's a yeoman.
She's
She
a
was off
yeoman.
yeomaning.
Yeah, she was
phasering
phasering up some coffee.
There you go.
Nice.
Amazing.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively. I have one job on this ship. It's stupid, and I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Some really good, like, falling all over the bridge and all over the starship when they were getting hit by shit. In
Oh
this
yeah, all the
episode, I thought.
choreo was good.
Yeah. The days of just like sitting in your chair and wiggling have long since passed for
Oh
Star
no, these
Trek.
motherfuckers be flying
Oh,
across
yeah.
the entire bridge. Like,
Yeah.
And the pyrotechnics. Oh, one thing I thought was stupid when Leland shows up and starts shooting randos with his phaser.
Mm.
It blows one of them across the bridge.
That's right.
oh yes,
20
you actually
feet.
didn't you say during
Yeah.
that like what was in that phaser? One
Yeah.
of you guys did.
Yeah, Jake did.
Like,
He was on a trampoline when it happened.
I hate when that fucking happens.
I do love whenever you see like behind the scenes stuff of scenes like that, and they literally do just have
Yeah.
stunt guy just run and jump on a little trampoline that in the final shot is just out of shot.
My favorite is when they're on like bungee cords and then they release them and they
Oh,
fly
no,
away.
yeah, that must. Phew, I don't know how much they pay those people, but it ain't enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably not.
I would do it for free.
I think that bungee cord thing sounds fun.
It
yeah.
does look really fun.
I feel like that's one of those things that no matter how ready you are for it, because I'm sure they do a big countdown and everything, they're very careful on these sets, but like, no matter how braced for it you are, it's still probably a little bit of a fucking shock to just be like, yoink!
It might make you shit your pants all the way up your back till you gotta change your shirt.
Yeah.
the pike maneuver.
We established that last week.
Which that's very much what, Michael's time travel looks like, that she's getting yanked on a fucking
It does,
bungee.
yeah, she's on a bungee. That
Yoink.
makes sense.
Although she's
God.
probably just CG.
Remember a couple weeks ago, and I brought this up on purpose in those episodes when we met Gabrielle Burnham. And my line was, I was so fucking relieved that it wasn't Michael. Because literally, when it first came out, and they said, oh, it's going to be Michael, I'm like, oh, fuck that, that's stupid. And it's Gabrielle, I'm like, oh, thank God, it's Gabrielle Burnham. That's stupid too, but at least it's not Michael. And now...
Double twist!
Shit, god damn it. I'm so pissed.
Shit damn, fuck a damn.
Triple twist.
Fuck a damn.
Some of it is actually old Spock in the squid ship from 2009.
Heckin' yikes.
He's also involved.
Yeah, because everything is very unclear of what the things are that happened. We literally go through the 5 signals and they realize we need 2 more. Why not just 1 more? Because you don't only need 2 more.
No, the other one's for Spock.
The other one's for Spock. God damn.
Yeah.
Thank God they changed his wig in Strange New Worlds. Something about it in this one looks so fucking bad on him.
What?
At the end, when he's in the classic Spock cut.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, it's terrible.
I'm glad that I missed it.
I remember
hate
at
it.
the time even thinking wow, he does not look good with this haircut. But they tweaked the wig a little bit in Strange New Worlds, and it just they basically it's a little different. And they kind of move one lock a little bit, and it's that is so much better.
Yeah, and then he has our one of our final lines, because the final line is "hit it" from Pike, which is fine. I like that's one of the better catchphrases. I enjoy that one.
Yeah.
And Spock literally says when we're talking about we're gonna go visit a moon.
Yeah.
And Spock gets so introspective about this because everything else is happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Let us see what the future holds. Next season on Discovery.
Yeah.
When we're in the future, you get it? You guys get it?"
Oh. I didn't even pick up on
It's
that.
literally like in DS9 when we're playing The Best Is Yet to Come.
Yeah.
At Vic's.
Yeah.
Vic. As really such a audience, there's gonna be stuff coming up. And now it's gonna be, we're going to the future, which frankly, thank God. They should have been in the future the whole fucking time.
Yeah, that's the thing. This whole season really, in many ways, feels like... I said this a few weeks ago, but couldn't get into specifics. But, so much of this season just feels like setting up, sending them to the future.
It's like, yeah,
because
so
being
they
a
must have
prequel
known.
is hard.
Well, being a prequel, and I think when we'll get to this when we talk about our whole season chat, and this is basically the whole series chat of starting as a prequel really hamstrings you because you're stuck fighting up against canon, and you can either go with canon and really limit yourself, or you can break canon and the fans will get pissed.
I mean, the easiest way you do a prequel, and it's not just they did a prequel, but then made sure to connect to TOS directly with the whole Sarek adoption thing. If you had just made no connections to specific TOS characters, you would have had a lot more room to breathe.
Like Enterprise.
Yeah.
Enterprise had a good amount of freedom for what they could do in that show.
Yeah, but by setting it in the 2250s, which is only 10 years before TOS, by having Sarek explicitly be there and Spock be connected to your lead, you made your own job harder. A job that was already kind of hard.
Yeah, then you're looking at the pro-con list of we want to give the fans something familiar. They're going to know Spock. They'll have something tangible to hold on to and say, okay, a lot of this is unfamiliar, but we know Spock.
Yeah.
So it's like going with your best friend to a party where you're not going to know anybody.
Yeah.
You know Spock. If you're at all uncomfortable in the party, you can go over to Spock and say, hey, Spock, I wanted to talk with you because everyone else is scary.
We don't know this Spock, though.
Do they have a dog in a bedroom I can pat?
Is there a cat somewhere? Jesus Christ. And it's funny, too, because I feel like, what people have been saying since Enterprise was, why a prequel do something set after the events of Voyager? Go further into the 24th or 25th centuries or whatever.
Wait, is Voyager after DS9?
It overlaps a little bit, but finishes after.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the 2370s-ish, I want to say. So...
And that's the latest we've gotten to until...
Nemesis is a little after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, but then next chronologically would be Prodigy. And then Picard is early 25th.
Lower Decks is kind of
right
between Nemesis and Prodigy, I want to say.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So.
Yeah. Chronologically it's Nemesis, Lower Decks, Prodigy, Picard.
Is Lower Decks next after Discovery?
No.
For
We're
No,
going to
Picard
watch
first.
Is
I
Lower
don't
Decks,
know which is
Lower Decks even
worse.
possibly before Nemesis?
No.
No?
Well,
I think they make references to Data dying,
Oh, do
being
they?
dead
Okay.
at some point.
if it's
right.
if, for all I know, because I've only seen 3 episodes, it maybe starts before Nemesis, but it eventually takes place after because of stuff I know that happens.
Well, not looking forward to that.
It gets good, and then it falls back on their original shit. But that's for a couple seasons, a couple years from now.
That's 2026's problem, probably.
No, that's
I think 2027.
yeah.
Because we do have Picard to get through.
That's 2026's problem.
Picard will only take a week or 2. I say we do 1 season per episode instead
Jesus
of 1
Christ.
episode per
Me.
episode.
No, I need to shit on it so thoroughly.
Oh.
So thoroughly that it gets on my shirt, too.
Shit on that show so bad. I'm gonna change my shirt.
Ames just has a stack of shirts at the ready for when we're watching Picard. Like, all right,
Gotta change another shirt.
shit my shirt again.
It'd be interesting to see if this is just this 2-parter or if this becomes one of our
I
running
hope
gags.
not. It's not a good one.
Two-part.
Oh, come on. Shitting yourself so bad you have to change your shirt? That's
Well-
a great one.
Captain Pike isn't in any more Discovery, so
We'll bring it back for Strange New
Yeah.
Worlds.
There you go. More random notes I have. Saru bringing up the Sun Tzu plot.
Oh my god.
Is good God, because that's from Art of the War, and it's like we also brought that up in the last Outpost, evidently, because that's what Portal 63 saw in Riker's mind or something.
Sure. Here's the thing. I said this while we were watching it. A few weeks ago we said, not just Star Trek, all media, no chess metaphors for a
You said
while.
this while we were watching it? I tuned you out, Chris.
Yeah. But I said, so just like we said with chess, all media, again, but especially fucking Star Trek, for the next decade or so, stop quoting Art of War. Please, find a different book about war to quote.
instead, quote, "I'll make a man out of you" from Mulan.
Yay!
You must be swift as a
That'd be good!
That would be kind of amazing.
The thing
With
is,
all the force of a great
here's the thing, though.
typhoon.
That would be better than this. I still think it should have been a Kelpian saying, because I'm so sick of every other alien culture doing nothing but quoting.
Yeah, but all the
fucking
Kelpians
her.
have on war is ah!
And then the ganglia flies out.
Well, you know what my people say in times of danger.
My people have a saying.
I can't do it again. It hurt my throat too
Tell
much.
it. Here. I'll just say my people have a saying, and then I will edit the screen back in from earlier.
In times of war, my people have a saying. Ah!
So loud. Chris made it louder this time. Damn you, Chris.
God.
I wasn't gonna, but now I will.
That really
Please
hurt.
don't.
I've made
Don't hurt-
mistakes.
Don't
I
hurt
won't.
the listeners.
People have a
There's nothing more satisfying than making Chris laugh like this.
The shirt's bright red, and the rest of us have to deal with it.
The rest of us have to deal with it. Wow.
I mean, look at his red face.
I think, so going back to Sun Tzu and they always do the same quotes from...
I will give him this. That was at least one I didn't know.
I think this one is pretty good. I was just looking for some.
Is
Art,
it a
I was looking for
Sun
some.
Tzu
I was
Is
looking
this
for.
gonna be
Some,
a
I was
joke?
just looking for some Art of War quotes, and I found this
This
one.
is a joke.
I've read hundreds of books about China over the decades. I know the Chinese. I've made a lot of money with the Chinese. I understand the Chinese mind.
Wow, Donald
That
Trump,
Trump?
2025.
That is Donald Trump from The Art of the Deal.
Oh,
my
Oh,
God.
that's a good book to quote, yeah.
I was gonna guess Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny. But okay.
I know all about China. Fucking ass.
But yeah, no, I will admit, at least it was one that I was like, he's quite. I was like, this is an interesting line. It's like, oh, it's gonna be fucking Art of War, isn't it? But at least it wasn't one of the obvious ones.
So we gotta get the, what's that thing, the course that you were in that I wanted to take, and then the professor passed away, Hagakure? What's the book?
Oh,
Is it the
Culture of the Samurai.
What was the book, though? Hagakure?
Probably the Hagakure, yeah. But that's Japanese.
We gotta quote that. Oh, okay, well...
No, anything but Art of War. Yes, let's switch
Yeah,
to
it
a
doesn't have to be
different-
China necessarily. It
Yeah.
could be anybody.
Yeah, Dr. Seuss.
It could be. At least they didn't quote Elon Musk or something.
That's true, thank fuck.
One of the greatest minds of our time.
Ugh. Anyway, Star Trek.
Star Trek. I loved the Hugh scene to Stamets when he said, "You're my home, and
Yeah,
I'm
that was
gonna
sweet.
stay," and it was so cute.
Yeah, their emotional scenes are always good.
So I love that for them.
So we're just kind of bopping all over the place. But Laurel's armor was
Oh
great.
yeah.
Oh my god, she
I
looked like a
love that.
bad bitch.
She was gonna fuck people up, and then her and Tyler definitely had, like, post-battle coitus.
Oh, yeah, they kind of just leave us with, well, Ash is there now, and that's just kind of it.
Well, he's at
Section
Starfleet.
31, but we leave him and Laurel with him.
Yeah.
They know that he's there with her, and everyone saw it.
Like, we don't know how many people saw them specifically. They'll just kill those guys that were on the bridge.
How else? How did Laurel convince all these ships? Let's go get involved with this Starfleet shenanigan.
She's the Chancellor.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they do like the same fucking thing in Prodigy later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that required a lot of convincing. We saw the
True.
convincing scene. It's so good.
Yeah, well, you know, they had to have special effects fights in this instead.
Yeah, it's all real convenient.
Yeah.
I had one last thing. Where was it on my card? Oh God! Speaking of beautiful farewell scenes, the Michael Spock farewell, where Michael very obviously is saying, "Spock, go befriend Kirk and Bones.
Yeah, go find your boyfriends.
You find some people who are exactly like Kirk and Bones that everyone knows from the original series, and hang out with them. You'll have fun.
Yeah.
Now I have to go to the future. Goodbye."
Go be Leonard Nimoy.
My people need me. My planet needs me? What is it? My people?
Planet.
It is Planet, thank you. I've only seen the episode once, so...
Oh, it's such a good one.
No, yeah, it's like, we went through, there was a time when I was like, I'm gonna watch all 435 seasons of Simpsons. And we got through season 12, and I was like, that's enough of The Simpsons. And Chris was like, that's exactly what I told you would say. This is exactly where I said you would give up, because it's bad now. Mm-hmm. So I've only seen it once.
Oh, boy. Dearie dear. But yeah, it definitely is like one where... and even watching it this time, knowing full well, like... At some point, I just was like, shiny. And just kind of shut off and was like,
During the fights, or what?
Just all of it. I was like, And then there's the occasional emotional moment. I was like, aw. And then back to, grinning like an idiot.
I can't get there because I'm trying to figure out what's happening, which is my fault.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do what I did.
No.
Just turn the sound off and just watch it pretty if you want to.
It's very pretty.
But yeah, because if you're watching it trying to make sense of like, oh, we're hitting all the signals and creating new ones, even though we don't know what that fucking means because we've seen them already, kind of. Mm-hmm. And putting like it feels like they've connected all the dots, but they made a different picture than what they originally set out to do.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because it's clear that they're looking back and just like saying, okay, these are all the things that we have to hit in the finale because they're the things that came before, but they're not the way that they were originally set up because of the showrunner turnover, probably. And that's where, like, I end up just overwhelmed by the end of this and, like, a catatonic wreck. Like, Stamets.
Yeah, I literally just at some point, I was like, fuck it, it's Bill and Ted, and called it a day.
I've been like this whole season.
I'm just glad they didn't try to wedge Gul Dukat in the last 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Oh, crap, the fire caves!
Spiritually, I'm glad they didn't try to do that.
I mean, I think that for me, this season, I don't think the season was great, but I do appreciate the
highlights and lowlights of this season.
Yeah, I think the introduction or the reintroduction of Captain Pike could have gone real bad. It could have been real campy, but I think that, Anson Mount does a great job with the character.
Are you in your season thoughts now? Have we segued so smoothly into season thoughts?
I think it's season thoughts. So
oh, wow, good.
This is my season thought.
Okay, I'm doing good season thoughts.
Okay, my good season thought is that they did a good job casting Pike.
Yeah.
And
he nailed it.
And, like, reintroducing this character. Honestly, as much as, like, I groan and roll my eyes at, like, oh, okay, we're already going back to that well with the Enterprise and Spock and everything, I think it was all handled pretty well. I have no real complaints about the casting of Spock or Pike or number one. I have no real complaints about how they were handled as characters, other than the fact that I didn't love how much they had to tiptoe around canon breaking, especially as it pertained to, like, Sarek and Spock not having any contact because it was taken to the point of awkwardness.
Oh, Spock's in the bathroom, Sarek. Well, we can't say goodbye to him now.
I know this was last week, but it occurs to me now, like, Sarek was like, I said I'd stay away, and Amanda should have been like, yeah, but I didn't, so I'll be right back, asshole.
hop back in this little ship, go all the way over there again in 2 seconds flat, like they always do.
And I think what helps too is, like, aside from Spock, of course, is we don't know really much about Piker #1, so they have room to play with them.
Yeah, we know even less about #1.
Yeah.
But Pike, at least we know where he's going to end up.
Yes, as does
#1, they have a lot they can play with. Rebecca Romaine does a great job with it. She's so cool. She gives no fucks, and that's what I love about #1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And I know I know it's controversial, but I even kind of like the new Enterprise look.
Oh, I fucking love the new Enterprise. It's like it's the original Enterprise, but with the sturdier nacelle struts and neck from the refit model. So it's like the best of both worlds. Just one perfect little design. I adore it. And even the little stupid stripes on the saucer just kind of break up what had been a monotonous hull previously.
The exterior ship design, stunning.
Yeah.
I do think everything being light up on the bridge makes it look like a jewel-toned CD case.
Well, I think in a way that just follows of, like, what if TOS had money? That's probably what it would have looked like.
I don't think it would, like...
I think
it's the lighting of it is weird.
I honestly
that's fair.
I honestly think that if TOS had money, the bridge would have looked like the bridge of the NX-01 because they really, like, Roddenberry really was going for, like, more of a submarine.
That's
practical,
true.
Right? More practical.
Yeah.
This is not practical.
No, you're right. The color, the popping color was a demand from the network.
Yeah.
You're right.
But I think it would have been more like metal and you know, obviously they didn't exist, but like computer screens with keyboards and buttons and things.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But like I think this is TOS with money and
but still directed from the network to make it colorful.
Yeah, speaking of colorful and keeping with our Enterprise aesthetics theme, the Enterprise uniforms. Perfect.
I love
what
them.
the Discovery uniforms should have been. Even though we did say last season we liked the Discovery uniforms.
We do like them, yeah.
These are even better, and they should have been this.
Well, I just love I love a pop of bright color, you know, like, just having as far as just, you know, the TOS uniforms are still the gold standard for just bold fucking color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I like the Discovery uniforms less the more I see them because...
And we liked them originally because they're cut really well.
They are.
The cut's fine. I really just don't like how they're not...
You can't tell which division anybody is.
You can't tell what division they're. You can't tell what rank anybody is.
Yeah.
Like the most beyond just being a uniform in the strictest sense of the word, you know, everyone's wearing the same thing. They also have to be functional. Like a uniform needs to communicate information.
I mean, I think though when you get to that, like the minute they moved from sleeve like rank stripes to pips, like even if you think about it, like if you're more than 2 feet away from any Starfleet personnel when they've got pips on their neck, it is kind of tricky to see their rank at a glance.
If someone's arms are down, you can't tell either, though.
True. I mean, there's no ideal way to really have the rank
honestly,
very clearly.
Epaulets would be the way.
Epaulets or the from the TWAC. The TWAC insignia. Which
Well, that you can only see from the front.
And those are
still like even if you look at modern military uniforms, the rank is usually on the collar. Right?
They have a big patch on the sleeve still, don't they? Or is that just the Army?
It depends on the rank, and it depends on, like if you're a major would have a maple leaf.
Yeah, I think there's no ideal way to make. Again, I think the main thing that you're right about is like telling the divisions apart is difficult.
Everyone wears a different kind of hat.
Is it a maple leaf or an oak leaf?
I don't know.
I think it's oak.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Marijuana.
But yeah, like you're right. The colors though stand out regardless. So yeah, it's easy to tell from a distance what division someone is. Except sciences and medical are the same color for some reason. Except that is one thing I like that they do with this is that medical's all white because it's like yes, they are distinctly medical.
And that way, if someone burst into like a blood vessel burst, you can tell.
Well, that's true. There was a lot of that in this episode too. Pollard. Her uniform wound up very stained.
Pollard got some lines.
She didn't.
That's nice.
Pollard doesn't give a shit either, and that's what's fun.
Get off my ass, sir. Sir, get off my ass. Or whatever it was. What it was?
Jet, yeah.
I love Jet.
That's a highlight, I think, from the season.
Oh, Jet Reno?
Jet Reno.
Oh, she's
Loved
fun.
her. Needed more of her.
Yeah, really underused.
Are we talking about favorite episodes or just things we like?
Just things.
Yeah, just-
Oh,
there's
okay, that's
there's
great.
only 14 episodes. You kind of can't have 14 favorite episodes. There's too few.
I was very partial, again, because I said this at the time, but, like, even knowing that actually he's going to be fine, Saru's thinking he's dying scene
Yes.
is so well done. I
So
love that
well
scene.
done.
I know that we didn't really know her, but I liked the Arium plot and the goodbye and, like, the sacrifice. Like, it was a bummer. And it sucks that, like, that's how we had to get to know her. Like, I wish we could have known her better. So maybe
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Yeah,
is
the idea of her having to like upload shit to the cloud to save is such a cool concept.
Yeah.
Like that I really like.
It's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine
Yeah.
if you had to. I mean, I wish I could, because my memory is so bad that I don't remember shit very well anymore. Like day-to-day experiences or like going somewhere and liking a thing. Like that's just never been. I don't know if it's because like. I don't know if it's like depression fog that I've had my whole life or like what it is.
Probably a big part of it, yeah.
But like I don't remember small things, and sometimes I don't remember big things.
What are some things you do remember? You remember liking the Arium stuff. We love Jet.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about in my life.
Oh god.
So, you
In
know,
my
the idea that
actual
if you
life.
could...
I'm saying I would love to upload memories
Oh,
because then
I
I
follow
would
you
keep
now.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, this wasn't some sort of weird segue.
I really liked the ideas of the episode on New Eden. Like, I liked that it was kind of a self-contained story. I thought some of the shit on the planet was dumb.
So what did you like on New Eden then?
Well, I just like the idea that we're doing a little, like, away mission. I feel like Discovery so far has been very much a 14-hour film, right? Whereas that felt like that episode was like, this is just an episode of Star Trek where we're going to go on an away mission, we're going to solve somebody's problem, we have to worry about Prime Directive stuff.
Yeah, and even where it fits in with the season plot, like the thing that fits in with the season plot is saving it from that asteroid.
Yeah.
The stuff that happens on planet is very contained and feels very more like an episode.
Yeah.
And I think we said at the time it was kind of nice that, like, yeah, they had their own slightly odd little culture, but they weren't, like, an obvious just, like, evil cult situation or something.
Yeah.
It, very easily could have turned into that fucking colony from that one episode of DS9.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're mostly chill. They're, a little weird about some stuff, but not in, like, a fucked up way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as like episode things went, I think when we first meet the Sphere, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Because it feels very like it's probably the most Star Trek-y this show has felt in terms of this is an entity, a sentient entity, that wants to connect with someone to pass off information, which feels like it feels inner lighty. It feels like name different Star Trek
Pup.
things.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, you're kidding, but yeah.
Pup, yeah, you're right. It does feel puppy.
Aw,
Puppy.
We love Pup.
The weird infection aliens that Jake mentioned last week
Infection aliens.
from Enterprise.
Oh,
They're
it
gonna
feels
preserve-
like that, you mean.
Yeah.
That's not a thing you like from this season.
No.
I liked how Phlox was not in this at all.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about this.
The sheer drama queenness of the Baul. Like, they know they are a frail little species, so they lean on presence.
They always dress for the occasion. That was my favorite part of the season, was when Eric Roberts showed up and he was the master.
Yeah, speaking of the Baul, I really like Serana as a character.
Oh, she's fun.
I wish she didn't show up in this
that was
episode.
dumb.
It was unnecessary. But her I liked, and when we met her, I thought she had such great exchanges with Saru that were really good.
The appropriate amount of pissed at him and
Yeah.
happy to see him.
I was gonna say she acted the hell out of it. She was really good. Oh, but yeah, and Saru like realizing that he doesn't have to be afraid anymore, and like just being a badass is pretty tight. I know we've already sort of talked a little bit about, but I like badass Saru, and I also kind of like that he gets called on being like too badass.
Yeah. Pike's gotta be like, all right, reel it in a little, buddy.
Do you think this season, because I know one of our kind of gripes last season was that they didn't do a lot with the kind of more minor bridge characters. Did they do any, like, I know we got like one more trait from Oo. And then we haven't had that rushed episode with Arium, which we'll talk about again probably in a second.
Yeah.
In our lowlights.
Yeah, we still don't know anything really about the others.
Yeah, they gave them each some lines this time.
Guys, they got those great goodbye letters last episode
That their families
where-
will never hear.
where like people who we don't know or care about are getting to do this. It's like,
If anything, they actually did less with Stamets this season. He really didn't have much to do.
Which is a low light. I love Stamets.
No, I mean, I would agree. It's like...
I was happy we had less Stamets.
Ugh.
But at the same, it's like they gave Hugh a lot more to do.
That's a high... Like, I think it was very nice of them to bring Hugh back.
And then let him do stuff.
And then let him do stuff, and I thought his fucking identity crisis was really good.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice.
They gave him that nice suit.
A couple other things I liked. I mean, Sonequa Martin Green, as always, acting her ass off the whole season long.
Yeah.
Especially when she, like, meets Mom and does Red Angel shit.
Yeah.
She's so good at crying.
She's so expressive.
She is.
She's always, like, knows, like, perfect facial expressions for things.
Yeah. In general, like, say, there was that moment at some point in the episode where something went very poorly. Oh, that's good terrified face. Yeah, no, she's quite good. And they all are, but obviously she's given a lot to do and doesn't have to do it through 18 pounds of makeup like poor Doug Jones.
Well, and it's too bad, too, because she gets given so much shit as the character gets so much shit, but I feel like it's probably, like, inevitable that some people, like, say that that's a her thing, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, not being able to separate actor from character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she just fucking rocks.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Maybe it's that she's too good, so they keep giving her more shit to do and keep making her more important.
Well, it's like they realize
Damn it, Sonequa.
she's good at being very emotional, so they leaned into it. And...
Which is like, then why did you have her fucking raised by Vulcans? What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Well, like I said, she's allowed to express more, so she's having belated 20 years worth of backup coming out at once.
All right. Final big thing that I wanted to say that was a highlight this season is just their decision to go to the future, which I think is a great fucking idea. You should have thought of it earlier.
Yeah.
Yep. No more worrying about canon.
Yeah, it gives you the option to be more creative with the kinds of stories you can tell. Like, this is going to be stuff we've never thought of and seen before. Like, this is going to be a newly blank slate.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
But hilariously, it also gives people from, like, whatever that is, 1,400 years in our future, like, license to watch it someday and be like, ugh, they thought we'd still be using whatever stupid piece of equipment that they invented for the show, and this time...
Thank God we invented the whatever device. Yeah, I think overall, like, you know, the first chunk of the season was good. It hit that weird sag, and then everything happened at once in 3 episodes.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to segue into the lowlights of this season. Is just that I think the time travel plot got away from them. Mm-hmm. They had they struggled to make it make sense to people who were paying attention.
Yeah.
If you weren't paying attention, we were just having a fine time. But I found it ultimately exhausting.
Yeah. Didn't need the Klingons.
Yes.
Did not need the Klingons.
Anything involving the Klingons is a low light for me.
I mean, it starts off as this soap opera Klingon thing. It gives us Ash just to give him to Section 31, specifically so that he can be on the ship with Hugh and have drama.
Yep.
Like, a lot of it is very... What word am I looking for? Obvious? Let's say obvious.
Yeah. And it just kind of felt like it fizzled out, and then, again, they wanted the Klingons at the very end, so they showed up again.
Yeah, and then Tenavik did not have to be Tyler and Laurel's kid.
No, not at all.
Like, there was no reason.
No, yeah. It's like they wanted to have the Klingons, but didn't really actually know what to do with them, I think, is what it feels like. It's very strange.
On a similar note, I also think that the Telosians were thrown in just to be a nostalgia. Oh, look, there's Telosians.
Yeah, I think, and a lot of people fucking fell for it. And, well, I loved that episode just because they loved the idea of, oh, the Telosians are back. When really, like, they were just there to magically advance the plot and not like make any other connections. They weren't interesting to me.
And again, like, why were they so beefy? They're not supposed to be beefy. Again, I normally, like, I'm
They've been
all
working
about...
out since the first time they met
was...
Pike. That's
Yeah,
what it is. They were like, we gotta
met...
be ready next time.
I think they met Pike and then they're just projecting themselves as big buff.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's
I'll
a good
take
plan.
that. That is... That...
Under the projection,
they're
still
still
like frail old ladies.
Because, again, it just, like, again, I'm like, yeah, redesign the aliens. I don't care. But if the point of these aliens is that they are frail, like, you've missed the point. But yes, I'm going to go with that as headcanon now.
Mhm.
That they
works
just
for me.
decided to project a beefier image. Especially because Spike strangled one of them that time.
I'm gonna say it was a little late for me. Just how to phrase it, the shitty one-liners.
Oh god, the bad lines.
Yum yum.
Yeah.
I like science.
I like science.
This is the power of math.
DEFCON levels of fun.
Hamlet, hell yeah.
Hamlet, hell yeah. Actually, hang on. On that note, with the DEF CON levels of fun, because Caitlin wasn't here for the time we were talking about whatever episode that was in, when Giorgio is being super forward with Stamets and Hugh and saying, "Oh, in the mirror universe, you guys are polys or like pansexual, and we have DEF CON levels of fun."
Oh, gross.
And she's being that trope of how like bisexuals are not to be trusted. And I feel like
everybody is actually bisexual. It's fine.
Yeah, I want to kind of like do you have any thoughts on that scene? Because I found it disgusting.
No, I found it disgusting.
Okay,
also,
good.
And then she like calls him Poppy, and she's like, "Did you just call me Poppy?"
I did say at the time that scene was very upsetting, but his delivery of that line was
of the
really
line is
good.
good.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I think that sexuality is like a spectrum, and I think that most people probably have like a little bit of something, whether you're very gay and have like a little bit of straight, or very straight and have a little bit of gay, but like, it doesn't necessarily mean that every single person has that, and it also doesn't mean that it is anyone's fucking business or job to be like, "What are you talking about? I know you like punani. We fuck in the fucking, in the mirror universe. It's cool." Like,
what is the purpose of that scene?
I do
to make
don't know.
everyone
I'll say
uncomfortable.
I'm gonna lead it. I'm gonna lead it into another low light for me. Anything involving Giorgio this season. I felt like she was totally superfluous. They just made her a quip machine.
Yeah.
I loved her.
Quip machine.
I liked her hating Leland. I liked when Leland was people and they were kind of butting heads. I kind of enjoyed that dynamic. But once he was gone, she was just like queen bitch of Shit Mountain or whatever. And like, I'm Terran, by the way. Yum yum.
At the time, she showed up in full disguise as a Klingon, but it didn't matter. She didn't have to be in disguise. She just showed up in a big hood and murdered a bunch of people, pulled the hood down, and then turned off the fake Klingon. It's like,
And it
What
feels
the
like
fuck?
just such a waste because Michelle Yeoh is so great.
she is.
And
They're giving her garbage to say.
well, I just think that they
And they don't even let her kick ass that much.
Not really.
painted themselves into a corner by killing off the original
Yeah.
Giorgio, and then having I feel like the Emperor Giorgio character was an interesting character for the mirror universe, and we're gonna have this fun version of her that's evil.
Right, but it doesn't work when you lengthen it out. It's
Yeah.
like, if you were hanging out with someone all the time who was like a hypersexual, always gonna make a fucking bad decision, hyper violent, like manic pixie nightmare woman, like it's no good. Like, it sucks. It would be so fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, it must be like how hanging out with you and I are to these two.
Exactly.
With all the fisting jokes.
I'm glad you
and
know
the
it.
poop in the butt. Like, man.
The poop in the butt.
Your one-liners are much less frustrating.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it's just because so many of the one-liners this season, not just the Giorgio ones, but everyone. It's just
Forced.
Tilly's gotten so regressed that she's Sonia Gomez again.
Yeah, they just always feel like the writers. I don't know. It's like they're writing YA and what would be like the quality of dialogue, and I don't like it.
Yeah, well, it's YA and a bit of Marvel.
Well, but I think it kind of is, right? Like, isn't this supposed to be family Trek? Like, I know they say
This is the one
fuck.
with the titties and the fucks.
They raped Ash Tyler last season.
Yeah, I think this is the farthest from family Trek.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be like
I
adult
feel
Trek.
I feel like we move into more of that direction then in the next couple seasons, because I feel like
It gets more family-y.
family unit stuff seems to. I'm seeing into the future. I'm
Stop the beard.
Yeah.
Without the beard. Okay.
But I don't know.
I think that part of the problem with this show is that they tried to make it adult, but their version of adult is let's have more sex and swearing and...
Yeah, it's what a teenager thinks adult
Yeah,
is.
it's not... I know you guys haven't seen this show, but Andor, I think of as being
Why haven't you seen Andor?
Is like a very...
Lazy.
It's a very adult version of Star Wars, but it's not because they're swearing and showing titties and stuff.
because it's like
deep.
dark themes.
It's because it's not even dark. It's just like it's mature themes. It's like intrigue and
like sex and titties.
and thinking about things and like it's more like it's like The West Wing as opposed to Mando.
No nudity. Like we don't get to see Cassian Xandor.
You'd have to go online to find that. I'm sure.
Did you get to see his outdoor?
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, like it's like that's. I wish that they had done something like that. If they had made it more like adult in theme
Then
than in just like, oh, adult means we can have more violence and have more swearing and have
titties.
more titties.
Yeah, I know I asked a couple weeks ago, because I've been so lost this season, and I asked, like, okay, this season, what is the theme? Because season 1, the theme was Michael's redemption and how far do you go in war and still call yourselves moral Starfleet officers.
Mm-hmm.
In this season, I totally forgot until these fucking episodes. Oh, right, they started this off, and the themes were like, what do you have faith in? Do you believe in destiny? And that's where these episodes culminate the faith destiny thing that they had forgotten about since episode 2.
Yeah, exactly. And like
I said, the theme of this season was let's find an excuse to throw them into the future because we don't want to be a prequel anymore.
That's a good theme. I agree with that theme.
But that's a metatextual theme, not an internal theme. I don't know that there was one.
I think the theme is Michael Burnham's the most important person.
That's another theme.
And Spock.
No.
Spock helped.
No, we're leaving him behind.
Yeah, speaking of Spock, here's another one of my lowlights this season. Even though Ethan Peck does a great job, he's scruffy and cute. Using his disability as a plot device is icky.
Yeah,
I don't like that for him.
Super
Like,
gross.
it's one thing to like show representation of people with various disabilities. That's great.
Yeah.
Do that. Don't make it magically fix your situation because some hocus pocus.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And then
it's actually a superpower.
And again, this is a show
That's just being Vulcan.
That's true.
Like, what's nice is, again, like, they even have, there's that crewman you see a few times who's in a wheelchair. It's like, we don't need to fix this guy, quote unquote. We just accommodate him.
Yeah.
Like, they're, in many ways, so good about it, but then really drop the ball in a huge way with that. It's like, wow, guys.
And then they don't even really... Whatever statement they were trying to make when Gabrielle said she was trying to reach out to him doesn't go anywhere.
No.
Like, I don't get it. I don't get this layer on the Spock character.
I think for me... No, go ahead. You finish your thought, Chris.
It could have just been the fact that he was half human, half Vulcan. And that's what gave him the special mind he needed. She needed him to have that she could, like...
That makes sense.
Yeah, without it having to be, like, this space dyslexia thing. It could have just been the fact that his...
Dyslexia.
that his, like, genetic makeup is relatively unique.
That's true, yeah. They didn't need it. They didn't need it.
Nope.
I think for me, overall, the thing that this show really lacks is subtlety and nuance. And, like, because everything is presented to us on a platter. Like, you look back at shows like Deep Space Nine or a lot of episodes of Next Generation, and there's nuance there, right? There's stuff for the audience to think about. There's characters that are not all they appear to be. Whereas on this show, everyone is exactly who they appear to be. And if they're not, if it's not immediately abundantly clear, they're going to beat you over the head with it 1,000 times. Like, Tilly is fucking awkward. Georgiou is fucking sexy and fucking evil.
Sexy.
Sexy.
Sexy and evil. I don't know. I just feel like the show, There's no room for interpretation.
Yeah, other shows, like at the end of, let's say The Inner Light, one of my favorite episodes. You get out of that episode and you want to talk about the themes.
Mm-hmm.
In Discovery, you get out of it and you want to talk about the plot.
Yeah, it's plot driven. It's very plot driven.
It's so plot. Like these themes that I just brought up, I can't even point to other times that these things came up than the New Eden episode and the finale.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I just. I
guess...
find this a very thin, superficial show with Star Trek coat of paint on it.
It's a nice coat of paint.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think aside from that weird sag we had for a few weeks, like, I was entertained by this season. Yeah. I didn't find it morally reprehensible like the third season of Enterprise. I will never find anything as morally reprehensible in Star Trek as the third season of Enterprise, probably.
We'll get
Probably.
Star Trek Picard season 2 pretty soon.
I feel like people that are critical of New Trek are oftentimes people are like, oh, well, you just don't like it because it's not what you grew up with, or
well, we didn't grow up with Prodigy and we love Prodigy.
Like nobody hates Star Trek more than Star Trek fans, and you hear this all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, but there are legitimate gripes to have with this show. And it's somewhat difficult to articulate. It's kind of difficult to put your finger on exactly what it is that's like doesn't feel right about this show.
Is it yum yum?
Yeah,
well, yeah, in some way.
Is it all the what word do you keep using? The Transformer tech.
Yeah. The Transformer tech, that's a low light.
I think enough time now has passed from the initial furor from the fucking...
Furor?
Furor, censors.
Fervor?
Fervor's a better word.
Well, no, but I do want furor, because...
F-U-R-O-R, furor.
Of the chuds from the internet who were just mad because
there's a black
women
lady.
and blacks and gays, like, they made it kind of impossible to have an adult conversation about the pros and cons of this series. Those people have largely gone away. They're being mad about different properties now because they realized they'd lost this fight. And so I think now there's finally the room to have the actual adult discussions about Discovery that we should have been having from the word go, but the internet ruins everything. Because that was the big problem, and it was easier to hide behind that. Like, just there was so much illegitimate bullshit out there that any attempt, even if two people were being adults about it who disagreed, some third scumbag would leech his way in and ruin it. It's like and again, luckily they're gone now. They're being mad at Superman, I think, at the moment.
Oh,
Fuck that
Superman!
Because they're mad that it's not Zack Snyder anymore. So, like, we're here at a good time for it. I feel like we can have the legitimate discussions about it that were, lacking in the off.
Yeah.
And you're right, though. It is sometimes difficult to... Like, there's individual things you can point to, like you said. Like, some of the fucking one-liners and this and that. But, yeah, there's something overall about the season that doesn't quite gel, I think. That...
I wonder if it is that showrunner turnover.
I didn't know that happened, and when you explain it, it's like that... And again, I think it explains maybe where that weird sag in the middle is, and why some things don't seem to quite connect up. I think that probably just really fucked them. I think the handoff just didn't work as well as it could have. Again, it's still an entertaining season overall. I'm glad we got Pike out of it, and new Spock, and new Number One, and new Enterprise, and I even enjoyed a lot of it as, entertainment. But, yeah, like, it's far from being any of the worst Star Trek I've ever seen, but there's better.
This is my least favorite season of Star Trek Discovery, for sure.
Well, there are three more, so I'm not sure if I agree, but I remember I didn't like it as much the first time I watched it, and I definitely liked it better this time because I think I understood it a little better.
I think going through and understanding, because I was able to see which of the red signals was which, better than the first time, and know what was coming, so I was actually tracking which one was which the whole time. And I think I did that because I had foreknowledge that this is going to be important for the fucking finale.
Yep.
But no, this season, I fucking couldn't with. It felt like overcorrecting so hard that I tuned out an awful lot.
Well, like I said last week, it's like, it's fine if you want to correct, quote unquote. You didn't have to keep pointing it out. Just do it. I think that ties to what something you were almost getting at, Jake, was like, it doesn't quite have faith in the audience, so it feels the need to point at things.
Yeah, I think there's one, and I'm going to complain about it next season. I know there's a character that they introduce next season who's a really interesting and good character,
Grudge?
No.
Aw.
I can't remember. Maybe it's the following season. I don't know. At some point, they introduce a new character, and the way they introduce this character is very annoying. And it's a we don't trust our audience to figure this out moment.
Okay,
I'll tell you off.
Yeah, because I can't quite figure it. Sometimes I know what you're hinting at, but this one I am blanking.
No clue.
Oh, one last little dig, though. We mentioned it while we were watching. That was just a fucking Iron Man suit they gave her, right down to the, like, Tony Stark fucking face camera HUD. Like, guys, come on.
The fucking Transformer way to get into it.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Like, I don't mind that you want to do new things, but do new things.
Yeah.
Don't just
Original
crib
things.
Marvel.
Yeah. Well, that's what they think. That's what the people want. They want Marvel.
Oh God,
Everything's a Transformer.
So many things are Transformers, and they have the ever expanding turbo lift shaft.
Oh yeah, we saw the turbo lift.
I hated
fucking,
that.
something breaking in there is what almost killed Stamets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means if that's ever exposed to space, it's so big it'll take out the rest of the ship.
That's true.
Well, don't worry, it's not going to get any bigger.
Oh no. Yeah, a couple other little things I want to nitpick on. I do think, even though it made me really like the Ariam character, what they did to Ariam in embiggening that character in one episode was like, okay, you know they're killing her off. You know they're doing this to emotionally manipulate you, and I can fucking tell.
Yep.
And I'd rather feel the emotions genuinely than see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you did it so fucking obviously.
Yeah, like, at least, if they knew they were doing that, at least start to build her up from earlier on in the season, which we said at the time, but still, it's worth repeating.
It's worth repeating.
Again, even with how much they, like, forced it, that end scene was still really good. It's like, wow, imagine how much more effective it would have been if I'd known her longer.
Yeah, if I cared before this episode at all. Yeah.
I also found learning the terrible, no good, very bad thing that Burnham did to Spock. Massive letdown.
Yeah, really. I told you to fuck off one time. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was going through trauma because my school had been bombed. Leave me alone.
Also,
your haircut is bad.
Nobody even has to have that. Like, how many times has a brother or a sister said to their brother or sister, "Leave me the fuck alone"?
Oh, every day. I swore at my brother and slammed my door in his face.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, the fact that this is like,
there is
big bad horrible thing.
There is the extra added layer of, like, her calling, like, a freak or whatever, which is like what all his bullies did. Which, all right, does add a little extra stink.
It's not enough to be.
No, it's not. It, like, maybe would have made the anger last a little longer, but not 20 years.
She should have put him in the hospital. In some way. Like, that I could see being a little more harsh.
Overfed his fish.
Like a really, like, prank gone wrong kind of situation? What are we talking about here? But anyway, yeah, a bit of a letdown, yeah.
Yeah, that...
I mean, especially because kids can be such little fucks.
Oh,
like,
kids suck.
She could have done something really terrible. Like, not even realizing how bad it was because she was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fuck kids.
Terrible. Yeah, I didn't like this one. I have forgotten a lot of the, like, finer details of upcoming seasons, but I am interested in this future idea. I like the idea that we've jumped to the future. I think that's going to be a plus for them. Will they nail it? We'll find out soon.
We will find out very soon.
Yeah.
In fact, probably next week,
No,
right?
next week we're doing something else.
What are we doing?
Short treks.
Oh, that's right.
That's right, another round of them.
Remember, between seasons 1 and 2, they released some short treks. We talked about those, but we're going to do the same thing.
There's more this time, right?
There's 6 of them.
Yeah, so there's 6 short treks.
So some of the Triple Nuggets? Yeah.
We'll be talking about that next week on our show, A Star to Steer Her By. Until then, you can catch up with us on the internet at our Tumblr, SSHP Podcast or SSHPpodcast.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky and Facebook. You can listen to our entire back catalog of over 400 podcast episodes at SoundCloud, YouTube, and any other podcasting thing. Until then, my name has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this is always Caitlin.
To the future!
Yeah, what was the Spock line, White Cat?
I like science.
Let's see what the future holds!
Yum, yum.
Yum, yum.